Good day, and thanks for listening to the Ntrockline Show. I'm Neil Tilk. I'll be your host, and what you are about to hear is some of the greatest rock and roll music ever made, combined with clever commentary and interesting anecdotes. I call it rock and rhetoric. Each episode has a theme that tells a story, promising to take the listener somewhere. And along the way, you'll smile, bump your head, reminisce, and unless you're really careful, you might even learn something. It's an hour-long podumentary of an educational kind. Now that we've made up our own words, on with the show, eh? Thank you for being here. We appreciate your company. We really do. And company, as we know it, should be in very short supply during this COVID-19 crisis. And as much as I would like to get out of this pandemic funk, the world just won't let me. Being an artist, I'm motivated to express thoughts. Try to stay current with the Ntrockline Show. Being a learned man, I cannot help but wonder if this is actually the beginning of the end. Let's face it, all our minds wander there, right? So this is how I chose to look at the situation. I'm a man of words. I love words. As a noun, the word end is expressed as the end of something, especially a period of time. But it also reads as the furthermost extreme or part of something. In this case, that little something just happens to be the evolution of mankind. Not a big deal, right? So, the end also means to bring to a final point as a verb or an action word. And action, action, unprecedented action, is what we are seeing. Included with that unprecedented action are louder than normal decrees that this could be the end of the world as we know it. So, I gotta start with Great Big C.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. That's great, it starts with an earthquake, birds, snakes, and aeroplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I have a hurricane, listen to yourself, turn worlds into its own needs. Dummy, save your own needs, speed it up and not speed, got no speed. The ladder starts to clatter with the fear, fight down, high fire in a fire, represent the southern gang from the government for hire in a combat site. Unless there wasn't coming in a hurry with the furies beating down your neck. Team reporters grab the Trump, get the ground, look at that low plane, flying then overflow, population corner, blue, but it'll lose, series seven worlds in your own need, listen to your heartbeat, tell me that the regiment, the reverend with the right, you patriotics, man, fight right, I'm feeling pretty psyched, it's the end of the world as we know it, it's the end of the world as we know it, it's the end of the world as we know it, I feel fine. 6 o'clock TV hour, don't get gotten bored now. Special Marine turn, listen to yourself, turn like a mini uniform. My book is burning, about 11, every motor escalating. Not a motor, incinerate, not a motor, but I get a step down. Watch your heel crush up all this speeds. No fear, cavalier, renegade, steer clear. Turn them in, fly. You offer me solutions and offer me alternatives, and I decline. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. The other nano to define, color nano to define, Mount Say, analyze lantern, Bernstein lantern, President, Lenny, Mr. Becky, birthday party, cheesecake, a jelly bean boom. Patriotic, slam, put next and right. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. Oh, it's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
As the finale to the Ntrockline COVID series, pun intended, we're working with 13 songs, so stay tuned. In the first part of the program, you'll hear songs that rock and roll has deemed appropriate for the apocalypse. Today, I am just the messenger. Notwithstanding the biblical apocalyptic version of the end of the world, to date, nuclear or Martian invasion were previously our main threats, if you can believe that. Dreams of big fights, ominous wars, all that stuff, in truly human, sensational fashion, We have these visions conjured in our heads, and they all sound like the backdrop for Armageddon. Here's Prison on the Ntrockline. Prior to the more current and probably more relevant threat to mankind, there was the threat of nuclear action. That's what it was supposed to be all about, dropping the bomb. But prior to that, perhaps as part of the ignorance of our race, we believed that the Martians were going to come down and vaporize us. We all remember H.G. Wells' classic War of the Worlds. Well, this one here is a 1978 rendition of that original, done by Jeff Wayne, and it is out of this world.
Chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, but still they come. Yes, the chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. Chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, but still they come.
Remember in the movie War of the Worlds, what brought the aliens down? The common cold. You catching my drift here? They couldn't handle it. Just food for thought. So here's the thing. It ain't over until it's over. And until it's over, we have the right and the opportunity to deal with our demons, both earthly and individual. Before the locusts, before the horsemen, before Jesus, before the Mayans, before there was recorded history of man, there were demons. Coincidentally, here is Imagine Dragons with demons. And after that, Supertramp with Hide in My Shell, right here on the Rock Line.
When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold, when your dreams all fail and the ones we hail are the worst of all and the bloods run stale, I wanna hide the truth, I wanna shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Curtains call, it's the last of all. When the lights fade out, all the sinners crawl. So they dug your grave and the masquerade will come calling out at the mess you've made. Don't wanna let you down, but I am hellbound. Oh, this is all for you. Don't wanna hide the truth. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. They say it's what you make, I say it's up to fate, it's woven in my soul. I need to
night as you lie awake and hold yourself so tight. What do you need? A second-hand movie star to tend you. As a boy, I believed the same. The cure for pain was love. How would it be if you could see the world through my eyes? The fire's becoming colder. You're beautiful. Think you're getting older. You're looking for someone to give an answer. What you see is just illusion. You're surrounded by confusion. Saying lies begun to cheat you. Friends are out to beat you. Grab on to what you can scramble for. Don't let the tears linger on inside. Short time you gain control. I can tell you, I can tell you, I can tell you. Just let me know. Let me show you the nearest time. Get your heart back on the road. If I can help you, if I can help you, if I can help you, just let me know. I wanna know. I wanna know. I've got to know. I wanna know you. I wanna know you. Well, let me know you. I wanna feel you. Oh, I wanna touch you. Please let me near you. Let me near you. Can you hear what I'm saying? Well, I'm hoping, I'm dreaming, I'm praying. I know what you're thinking, see what you're seeing. Never, ever let yourself go. Hold yourself down, hold yourself down. Why'd you hold yourself down? Why don't you listen to the words? So what you gonna take it? It's a place that knows the way. So what you gonna make it? A place there is no need. So what's he gonna feel? So what's he gonna feel? So what's he gonna do? Oh, to feel. So what you gonna take it? I know exactly what you feel. So what you gonna make it? 'Cause all your troubles are within. So what's he gonna do? So what's he gonna see? So what's he gonna do? Oh, love, tell me which way to help me, help you. Why must you be so cruel? So what's he gonna do? So what's he gonna do? So what's he gonna do?
And then there are some that believe that they would handle the end of the world in a much different way. Because there's no final hour until there's a final hour. Like, who knows where that could be or if that day even exists. So hiding may not be the right way to go. It can be a personal event or a group event, like any other occasion. Sometimes it's the happenstance of either and or both. One thing I know as a student of human nature, there are definitely two attitudes towards the inevitable and the problem. You can hide in your shell, or you can party it out with Boston and the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, because if you want to get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. Both coming up next on the Ntrockline.
I never read it in a book, I never saw it on a show, but I heard it in the alley on the weird radio. If you wanna drink of water, you got to get it from a well. If you wanna get to heaven, you got to See, I never thought it'd be so fun, but I heard it in the alley, now I got it on the run. If you wanna see an angel, you got to find it where it fell. If you wanna get to heaven, you got to raise a little hell.
I think it's the difference between a person who sleeps with their face smashed into the pillow and a person who sleeps on their back, and I think that's the distinction between the two peoples. We can hide or we can party. Here's the thing though. When we wake up, either facing or fearing the world, if it's not what it used to be, then what should it be? There are many believe that their civil liberties have been taken away during the COVID crisis. Fact of the matter is, by losing something, something else is found. We all have a chance to work on our own something. Here's Frozen Ghost.
Cover my eyes and ears till it all disappears. How can you judge for me what I should hear and see? You take away freedom of choice, take away the right to voice my beliefs and all my views. You take away my right to choose. Show me what should I see. Make my mind up for me. Show me what should I see. What should I see? How can you censor my thoughts? What is right, what is not? How is it you decide what I should feel inside? Quoting God as you discuss what is right or wrong for us. You inundate us with your views. You take away my right to choose. Show me what should I see. Make my mind up for me. Show me what should I see. What should I see? Take away freedom of choice. You take away my right to voice my beliefs and all my views. You take away my right to choose. Show me what should I see. Make my mind up for me. Show me what should I see. Make my mind up for me. Make my mind up for me. Show me what should I see.
So now you can see where the show is headed. We choose life. We choose to learn and grow and improve. So if it's not what it was, tell me, what should it be, right? Which leads me to the next segment of the program. This question, what should it be? Well, we're going to take a look at that. This is reminiscent of a plea made many moons ago. It was a gathering of like-minded, peace-loving people greater than the world had ever known. Maybe it doesn't have to be the end of the world if we get our act together before we come to that point. We're just stardust, and we have to get ourselves back to the garden. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, a song written especially for the greatest cultural event on record, Woodstock.
Well, I came at
We are building new apartment, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden. We are stardust, we are dust, we are building new garden, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden. By the time we got to Woodstock, we were heavenly strong, and everywhere was a sign and a celebration. And I dreamed I saw the burning death flames riding shotgun in the sky, turning into butterflies above our nation. We are stardust, we are dust, we are caught in the devil's party, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden.
One of my absolute favorite expressions in life comes from a driver's manual of all places. It's called the point of no return, a phrase meant to indicate that an accident is inevitable and unavoidable. Next time you approach an intersection too fast, can't stop for the red light, you'll know what I mean. Well, before that point of no return, somewhere back in that intersection, there was a place where you could have stopped. I think this is the time. Here is Kansas with the question of the day. How long to the point of no return?
I heard the men saying something. The captains tell they pay you well, and they say they need sailing men to show the way and leave today. Was it you that said, "How long? How long?" They say the sea turns so dark that you know it's time you see the sign. They say the point
I told you. I confessed. I'm a lyrics guy. I love the words in this song. All we are is all that love brings. Think about it. Last year, you couldn't have convinced me that the world was shut down for anything else but an all-out war. I was wrong. We have all been wrong, it seems, waiting for something catastrophic to happen so that we could change our ways. 1 year ago, you couldn't have told me that humanity cared enough about itself to shut down the world. Turns out we do. I wonder how many other things that we'll discover that we were wrong about. Here's Kim Mitchell. All we are.
All we are is all that love brings. Spin as the highest star spins. We get hearts on fire and in love. Sometimes we're too blind to see.
I think it would be impossible to say in this case that history is repeating itself. Once every 100 years certainly narrows the possibility of experiencing a pandemic. So history is not really repeating itself in our lives, if you know what I mean. If you could say that you remember the First World War, you could pass. But anyone that can remember the Second World War is doing pretty good. So, chances are there are no people alive that survived the first pandemic. What does survive the ages are the messages that were delivered and received in the light of such big events. And this is a big event. The following is one of those messages, courtesy of 10 years after. Rock and roll like it's never been told. Here is I'd Love to Change the World.
everywhere is freaks and harris, dykes and fairies. Tell me where is sanity? Tax the rich, feed the poor, till there are no rich no more. Population keeps on breeding, nation bleeding, still more bleeding economy. Life is funny, skies are sunny, bees make honey, who needs money? Monopoly.
Oh yeah! More pollution, no solution. Institution, electrocution. Spread wide, rich and poor. Them and us, stop the war.
There was another message there from our rock and roll forefathers, another message that seemed to have been missed the first time around. But to quote Led Zeppelin, there's still time to change the road we're on. Remember, we're the lucky ones to be alive at this juncture in time, when we can actually say to our children and our children's children that we made a choice for humanity, and we are in that moment right now. It's really exciting, really promising. So to all you doomsdayers out there, this is an episode of the Ntrockline was dedicated to you, because we choose life. We're hoping it catches on. I'll end this full finale episode with a quote from a plaque that hangs so dearly on my wall. Children are God's way of saying life goes on. Here is Jesus Jones, no pun intended, with Right Here and Right Now. But that pun was intended. Long live the Ntrockline Show.
Woman on the radio talks about revolution when it's already passed her by. Bob Dylan didn't have this to sing about. You know it feels good to be alive. I was alive and I waited. I was alive and I waited for this right here, right now.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Ntrockline Show. My name is Neil Tilk, and I'm pleased as punch to have you here with me today, and I hope to see you again real soon. A complete volume of my work can be found at www.soundcloud.com/Neil/Tilk. I hope you've enjoyed every second. You can reach me at ntrockline@gmail.com or visit our page at ntrockline@facebook.com, where you'll find lots of extra stuff. Until we meet again.